our slope-intercept form, that is y equals mx plus b. And when they give us the slope and the y-intercept, that's pretty easy, straightforward.
It's just writing the equation using.
Yep, you're just putting your m in for m and your b in for b, so nothing crazy there. So that's giving the slope and the y-intercept. Then when they give us the graph, same thing, you just pull it from the graph. So find your y-intercept, that's your b value. Find your slope, you just count that. And remember, keep in mind if it's negative versus positive. And you just put it in. So my y-intercept was 1, my slope was up 2 to the left 3, so negative 2/3. And then what you were working on last night for homework, when they give us the slope and a point, what I was just showing you is we went over our homework there. We take our slope, put it in. We take our point, this is x and y. This is my x value and my y value. So I'm just putting in each of these, and then you solve for your b. Once you have your b and your slope, you just put it into your equation. So that's what we did before. And then last class, where are you at, Sandra? Your seat's right here, I believe. Yeah, you're right there. Yeah. So then the other part of what we did is that we said, well, what if they don't tell us the slope, but they tell us it's parallel? So that was the last kind of what we did last class. And let's break that up. So just a reminder, if it says that they are parallel, it means they have the same slope. So even though they don't explicitly tell you what the slope is, they did tell you, you just have to know that's the same slope. So when they say that it's parallel, all that means is that your slope is the same. So for this one, my slope would be negative 3. Then they gave us this point, 3, 2. That's our x and y. So same thing, you're just putting in for x, y, and slope. Solve for your b. So you have your b and your slope. You just plug it in. You got it. So again, when it's parallel lines, all you do is just take your slope from there. Instead of them telling you your slope, you have to remember, oh, it's just the slope from there. We don't use anything else from that equation.
How would you solve this? Would you say?
Yeah, you just plug in your slope, you plug in your x, y, just like you did before. Same exact thing as what we did up here, same exact thing as what I did before. It's just, instead of them saying n equals, you have to remember that parallel means your n is the exact same n as what we have here. So my n is negative 3, my n is 2. That's really prepared. Alright, so that's what we're going to do our mini quiz on, and then you can see our final two things for today is writing the equation when they give us 2 points, and writing the equation when it's perpendicular rather than parallel. So make sure you have a calculator that's working. Remember, if you ever need to reset it, set them plus 712 if it's doing funky things for you. Are there any last minute questions before we take our mini quiz? Okay. Go and clear off your desks. Let me check your yeah, and if you want, you can just set it off this over there. Would that be easier for you? Whichever, it might be, I mean, whatever is easier for you. Today's thing are 7 and 8.
7 is still because I understand, but
it's different.
You're 7?
Do you have your work for this?
Yeah,
I know.
you'll have to do
See
it.
if you got it.
I have a key in my car, so I don't know
And add the whole coordinates I ready to do it.
I think that's
I need to give him a pass. You did the assessment there?
Yeah, and you can do your test for you.
yeah.
Was it a decision?
It's not.
That's right.
I know my good teacher.
I need some of the loosely on these kids.
Well, I got 40 marks or something. I think that much.
This is the first time you've heard this. Not very good.
I don't know how much I read with my students. I have this in this class where it's quarters of the quantum grading and some of the quantum grading is kind of. We're smarter. Everything has the best. There's more than one spotter.
Yeah, guys, just make sure you do both sides. Remember, we're combining our mini quizzes now, so make sure you do both sides. All right. Guys, make sure your desks are cleared off. It should just be your mini quiz and your calculator. All right, and before we begin, if you take a look at your assignment sheet, it says for tonight our homework is worksheet number 7, but it says to bring charged laptop. So next class you're going to need your laptop because we're going to be talking about line of best fit, and it's a lot easier to do on Desmos, which is online, than it is on your calculator. You can do it on your calculator, but it's a lot easier to do it on Desmos, okay? So bring in your laptop so that you can access Desmos for that. So just a reminder for that. And then we will go and get started. And also, too, just your assignment sheet tells you when to bring your laptop, so make sure you follow that because your mini quiz then will have a laptop portion, your test will have a laptop portion. So make sure you bring your laptop to be able to complete those. We'll go and get started.
We keep our attention.
Yeah, you hold on to it, so you know what needs to be fixed.
I have an idea.
Yeah, we sleep here.
And the very top tray was the red tray. Okay, so today we finish out our foldable. So we're doing those last two, like I said. We're still writing the equation of a line. So it still comes back to writing our equation. Just a reminder that we have, this is our equation here. What does n represent? Slope, good. And what does our v value represent? Y. So today what we're doing is when we're given 2 points, how in the world are we supposed to write our equation like? So the first thing that you have to do is find your slope. Right? We have to, they didn't give us, when they give us 2 points, we don't know our slope and we don't know our y-intercept. So we have to find each of those. So we have to think back to our slope equation. And our slope equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x. Sometimes you'll see the notation like this, where it has this little triangle, changing y over changing x. This is a Greek letter delta. What it means is changing. So this is just simply saying change in y over change in x. And to find how much it changed, we subtract. Alright, so first we have to find the slope. And let's go ahead and do example 1 as we go through the directions here. So this is my x1, y1. And then for my second order pair, this is x2, y2. Alright, so for my equation for slope, I do y2 minus y1. So negative 4 minus 6 over x2 minus x1. 3 minus 1. And we just simplify. You can use your calculator to help you out. So we get negative 10 over 2, which is negative 5. Alright, so I know that my slope is negative 5. Awesome. So that's our first step. Now we have to find the y-intercept. So we've got our slope now. Now we need to find my y-intercept. Well, now we're just right back to what we've been doing all along. We know our slope, so we plug in our slope. And we have 2 points to choose from. You can use either point, but you go ahead and pick one of them. I'm just going to use the first one and substitute an x and y. So it's just what we did before, where we plug in our y value, our slope, and our x value. And we solve for the b value. Okay, so let's go and do that. So our equation is y equals mx plus b. You can use either point, because the way that this equation works means that it's the equation that's true for all x, y values on it. So if they give you a point that's on the line, then it's going to make the equation true. So it doesn't matter which point you use, because they both make the equation true. I just am using the first one just because I can. So my y value is 6. My slope we found was negative 5. My x value is 1. And I don't know my b value, that's what I'm finding. And so just like we did on our homework, and then let's go and simplify. Use your calculator to help you out. So 6 equals negative 5 plus b. Add 5 to both sides. I get 11 plus b. So now I have my slope. I have my b. We can write our equation. So that's the last step, is just plug in your slope, your m, and your y-intercept b into the equation. And remember, leave y is y and x is x. So we just put it into our equation, and our equation is y equals mx plus b. So y equals, my m is negative 5. X, my b value is 11. Y equals negative 5x plus 11.
So when you do that, right, 6 equals negative 5 times 1, you can pick any of the points.
Yeah. Yep, for right here you can pick any of the points, you'll get the same b value in the end.
So you can either pick 6 or negative 1.
Well, you have to pick the same point, so either you do 1, 6 or 3, negative 1. Yeah, that's a good distinction there. So either point, either 1, 6 or 3, negative 4, but either one will give you the same b. Alright, do we have questions with that first example? So same thing with our example 2. Now they showed the points kind of in a different way. Remember, this is the same thing as just saying 3, 2,
1.
and 6, 4. This is our x value, this is our y, x1, y1. This is x2, y2, because it's just our second point. So again, our slope equation. Do y2 minus y1. So that's 4 minus 2. Over x2 minus x1. 6 minus 3. It really doesn't matter which order you go in as long as you're consistent with it. Answer, my dear. Just be taking notes, not blocking for your
Don't have the pencil because that one.
So why don't you ask me or someone around you?
Because I don't want to distract my learning.
But you're distracted learning right now. Take that
It right off.
and attempt one of those. Alright, so we have 4 minus 2. So again, we're finding our slope. Sorry for that pause there. So we're simplifying y minus y over x minus x. 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 3 is 3. So we get our slope is 2/3. Again, you can use your calculator to help you out with that. And then we're doing the exact same thing that we've done for the last 2 classes. I'm simply going to take my slope and pick one of your points. It's up to which one. I'm just going to do the first one. And plug it into your equation. Y equals mx plus b. My y value is 2. My n we found was 2/3. My x value is 3. And I don't know b. That's what I'm trying to find.
How do you do the vertical fraction?
Alpha y. So as always, you can use your calculator to help you out. We get 2 equals 2 plus b. I'm going to need to subtract my 2 from both sides. 2 minus 2 is 0, so I get my b value is 0. It's okay if you do get that. You're not going to get it very often, but it's a possibility. What does that mean if my y-intercept is 0? Where's that on the graph? In the center. What do we call the center of the graph?
The origin.
Origin. Good. So all it means is that this goes to the origin. Okay, so I have my slope and my y-intercept. Now I can start my equation. Y equals mx plus b. So m is 2/3. Don't forget your x. Plus b, we don't need to write plus 0 on the end because 2/3 x plus 0 is just 2/3 x. Questions with that? So really the only thing new is that you have to first find your slope in that slope equation. Then it's just what we've done the last couple classes. Okay, our last one is writing our equation. Again, this is our slope-intercept form. You have to know this. Slope-intercept form. So this is when they tell us the point, but they don't give us the slopes. Instead, they tell us it's perpendicular or something. Okay? So last class we did when it was parallel to something. And when they were parallel, they had the same slope. Well, for perpendicular, it's different. So again, we have to first find our slope. But in order to find our slope, we have to look at our perpendicular line. Okay. So use the perpendicular line to find the slope. Now again, with parallel, it's the same slope. Perpendicular lines, they have opposite reciprocal slopes. Opposite reciprocal slopes. I'm not amused.
I'm not doing anything.
Alright, so if they give us a slope of 1/3, opposite means I'm going to change the sign. So if it's positive, that means my perpendicular slope is negative. Reciprocal means I flip it. So let's go ahead and just put that upside down.
It becomes 3/1. Negative 3/1.
Upside down. Yeah, so when we flip it, we have 3/1. So negative 3/1. What does negative 3/1 give us?
-3.
Negative 3. Thank you. So this is really just negative.
So when you find the perpendicular, you have to, whatever, if it's a negative or positive, you make it opposite, then flip it opposite.
Yep. So opposite flip. Alright, so here we have negative 4/5. So if it's negative, our new slope will be positive. Then we flip it, so 5/4.
So perpendicular is only one mark.
What's that?
So it's the one.
You mean like the notation for it, the symbol? Yeah, they draw separate perpendiculars. Alright, and then negative 2. So negative 2, same thing as negative 2/1. So I want to flip it 1/2. And I want to make it opposite, so instead of negative, it's now positive. So parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines, opposite reciprocal or opposite. And another way to phrase this, you can just put this as a note off to the side, is the product of slopes, we'll say of perpendicular slopes, is -1. What does product mean? What am I doing if I'm doing a product? Multiplying. So you can double check it on your calculator. If you multiply your original slope and your new perpendicular slope, it'll give you -1 every single time. Okay, so again, our process is find slope, which for perpendicular lines, we do opposite reciprocal. And then we're right back to where we were. We have point, we have a slope, we just plug it all in. So now we have to find the y-intercept, our b value, plug in our slope, plug in our x, plug in our y, and solve for b. So it's just like before. So we have to first find our slope, and then we just plug it all in. All right. So example 1 here, it says line perpendicular to our line y equals -4x plus 6. All right. So this is not our equation. This is what it's perpendicular to. So we simply take the slope and modify it. So here the slope is -4. We want perpendicular, so we're going to flip it.
Positive.
We want positive and flip. So we're going to have positive. And then if I take 4, remember -4 is the same thing as -4/1. So when I flip it, what's it going to be? 1/4. Good.
So when we do these and it's a whole number, should we just add the bottom to
Put it over 1. All right, so very easily we found our slope. Now we can go put it into our equation. So same thing here. Here's our here's our point x and y. So for y I have 2. For my slope, my perpendicular slope, I have 1/4. My x value is 0. And I don't have my b value. And now we're just in the same thing that we've done every single time. Again, use your calculators. 2 equals 0 times 1/4 is 0 plus b. 0 plus b is just b. So I have 2 equals b. I have my y-intercept. I have my slope. My slope. Smart board's messing up already. Now I can just write my equation. Y equals, my slope is 1/4. Don't forget your x.
plus 2?
And my b value is 2. All right, and then let's go and do our next example. We'll do some practice. All right, so again, they tell us it's perpendicular. So we have to take our slope and find our new slope. So here's my old slope. I need to do opposite and reciprocal. It's positive 1/2. What's my new slope going to be?
-2/1.
Good, -2/1. What does -2/1 give us?
Gives us -2.
-2, yeah. Okay. We have y equals mx plus b. Now we just plug in everything. Got my point. Got my slope. Let's plug it all in. What's my y value?
5.
5. What's my slope?
-2/1.
Good, -2/1 or just -2, either way.
And times it by 4
Good, my x value is 4
plus b.
plus b. All right, why don't you guys go ahead and solve for b on this one. All right, what do we get for b?
-8. Oh, yeah, I got it.
So we get negative 8 plus b. I'm going to add my 8. Okay, we get 13 is b. So I have my b value, and I have my slope. Just put into your equation. Y equals my slope negative 2 x plus 13. So it all comes back to the same process. For all of our notes, we have to find the slope. Actually, let me just write that up here. We have to find our slope. You might have to count this from the graph. You might have to find it from your parallel. You might have to find it from your perpendicular, or you might have to use your slope equation. So either count it from the graph, which remember slope is just rise over run. If it's parallel lines, then it's the same slope. If it's perpendicular lines, then we do opposite and reciprocal, which just means to flip it. And if we don't have a graph, we don't have an equation, they gave us 2 points, we have to use our slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2. Yes, Andrew.
With example 2, you added 8 to the 8, and then we have to subtract that. No.
It was a negative 8 because my slope was negative. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you're correct. If it was positive 8, I would definitely want to subtract that rather than. Alright, so our first step is always find our slope. Depending on the style of problem, we have different ones. Then, once you find your slope, we just simply plug in our slope, our x, and our y. And then solve for b. So for all these, it's really 2 steps. Find your slope. Once you found that, then find your b value. And don't forget just to put it in for y equals mx plus b. And all we're replacing is our n and our b. Put a number in for n and a number in for b. And that's it. So I'm going to grab the practice for you to start working on. This is mainly over what we were just doing, but there's a couple different ways. They give you a graph to count your slope. They give you points here to calculate your slope. But since you're in new seats, do me a favor, turn to the people next to you and say, hello, my name is...
Hi, I'm good. Huh? No.
And tell them one exciting thing you did this weekend, besides sleeping and Netflix and
I got
eating.
depressed because my mom told me Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. And the Disney Plus now that that's
So I got
out.
Disney Plus free for a year.
How'd you manage that?
With Verizon, you get it free for a year. You just have to log into your Apple ID. I have an Apple TV, so.
Apple TV, what's good about that is that.
We have 2. We have 3, but only have.
And now I want you to tell them one thing you're looking forward to for break other than eating, sleeping, and watching TV.
Does that affect your phone? How do you use it? I'm not
With Disney Plus, you can see the
No, I know, but something different.
you use iTunes.
The one on my phone, you can see everything on my phone on the TV.
Oh, because it's probably in the remote. Like it looks like a remote or something. It's a remote.
Need one more?
Literally his phone screen on TV.
Oh, he's screenshotting. He's like screenshotting.
Screenshot, that's what it is. Yeah, it's pretty tough. He literally opened Snap. And it was funny. It was funny.
Alright, at this point we should all have the practice number 6 here. Is there in the didactic number 6? Okay, so I want you to work on this either individually or with those around you. Our first ones here So at the top of your paper, I want everyone to write y equals mx plus b. This is our slope-intercept form. That's the equation we're writing every single time. Okay, so you are going to use the graphs here. Remember, first find your slope, then your y-intercept. You know, you could use the slope formula, but since it's a graph, you can just count your slope from there. Save yourself some time. For the ones that are neat, that's where you're going to have to use your actual slope equation. So if you need to write that in again, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then on the back side is wherever perpendicular. So you should go ahead and work either individually or with those around you. You can always ask me questions as well. But take some time to go ahead and practice these. And I'm going to leave up the little instruction notes here. Can you move that? Yes. For right now.
I saw you in the one. No, yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Did you see the shot of me?
So they gave you the first one stairs, so you're going to have to do something. So when you're equal to not
Yeah.
the graph, because it's easier. You might have easier.
Yeah, so.
Hold on just a second.
All right, we've got a request for number 5. So let's take a look at number 5. If you move desks, go ahead and go back to your original seat. So if you move seats, go ahead and go back to your original seat.
I don't understand this one.
Eric, come back to your original seat. I mean, it is more than just like.
It's more than one step.
It is more than just. Unfortunately, we've gotten older, smarter, so now we make you do more. Okay, so number 5 here, we have a request for that. Again, you can count your slope from the graph. So when I count my slope here, I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I went over 1, 2.
Oh.
I can see it's a negative slope. And negative 6 times 2 is negative 3. Okay, so I've got my slope. Now, we can't see our y-intercept. We don't know where that happened. There is a y-intercept, it just continues on further down. So in order to find my y-intercept, I have to plug everything into my equation here. Now, you get to pick which point you want to use. I'm just going to go use the first one I see. So my y value is 4. My slope we said was negative 3. My x value is negative 3. I don't know my b. Again, you can pick either point, I just chose the first one. So I have 4 equals 9 plus b. Yeah, 9, and I get b is negative 9. Alright, so I have my slope, I have my b. Now to start my equation. Y equals my slope, negative 3x, plus my b value, which is minus 5.
So that'd be y equals negative 3x.
You got it. Alright.
So we don't have to, for these that we don't have to do y2 minus y1.
No, so for these ones where they give us the graph, Andrew, where they give us the graph, if you can count it from there, go ahead and count it. But like for number 4, see how it's falling, it like falls in between. So you might want to use your equation for that. I like this one here, see how it's in the middle of it, so you probably.
Oh, sweet soup. We're leaving.
What was the difference
Between these two.
Yeah.
No,
Alright.
so see how this one perfectly is on the crisscross? So we know exactly where that line is. The other one, they can't bounce it as like. Alright guys, your homework for next class is worksheet 7, and what else do we need to do? Computers charged up. Good.
Why? Why like the force ride?
Oh, no, you'll have much time on making you go through there. No, I can't.
Oh, God.
You like being on your channel.
I know. He just wants to always be opposite.
Ow, God.
What is going on?
Hey, what's
That's life skill you gotta work on.
I'm burning the speakers.
Don't burn it.
I'm going to.
Wait, I'm right here. Wait. Hey, Sherry, print calculators.
What's the pencil back?
Return your calculators and head off to Stinger 7.
I don't want to go to class.
And my folder is shattered. Thank you.
Well, that should be just the back side.
Yes, thank you.
I actually won't be after school. Maybe Wednesday is the office. Thank you.